What a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday.
I'm so thankful. It's been
What a great weekend.
what a great year so far.
Well, we're on the right side of the couch today. The rest of the NFC, not so much. NFC North, of course. Welcome, everybody. This is NFC North West Coast Edition. Almost forgot our name there for a second, not gonna lie. And wow, it's like surreal for Bears fans right now. I mean, and of course,
Are we starting with
even
the standings again?
well, we have to. We have to. I mean, we gotta do a quick recap of where the standings are, and then we'll talk about the games. But I mean, honestly, I don't even know. All right, so the Bears still sit atop 9-3, and they're actually first in the NFC now. Wild. I'm a little shook, guys. It's
What
been pain for several years.
what multiverse are we in? What
I don't
what
know.
happened?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Packers sitting second, 8-3-1. Lions dropping. Well, they're still third, so I shouldn't say dropping, but now becoming 2 games back in the North, 7-5. And the Vikings, tough sledding 2 weeks in a row, falling to 4-8. So
They're trying to get to that 9 loss.
Yeah.
Or more at this point.
Ton to talk about, right?
Oh,
So we'll get into the Thanksgiving Day game. We said it last week. If you listened last week, we knew this was going to be a good game. We knew it
Oh,
was
yeah.
going to be competitive, and it was. It was very competitive, and it was a great way to kick off the Thanksgiving football day.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, all those games were pretty good. And
It's fitting that this is the best Thursday night game, or not
Yeah.
night, but Thursday game
Yeah.
of the year so far.
yeah, and for some reason, Detroit just can't find ways to win on Thanksgiving.
I know.
Even when they're I mean,
They were favorites, let's be honest. They were favorites to win this. They're at home. I know that they had a lot of injuries. I get that, but so do we. They should have probably won this game.
yeah, so I mean, obviously losing St. Brown
Oh, yeah.
on, the second series, that's a
That shifted everything for
yeah,
them.
that's a huge loss.
Oh,
Huge
yeah.
loss.
It might be a huge loss for the remainder of the year because he's out for
Yeah.
supposedly 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I know that you weren't too happy with my messages during the game, but I'm sorry. The officials sus.
Okay, I'll give you. But
Sus,
here's the
bro.
thing: the officials are
Sus.
sus on both sides. I do admit that timeout was dumb. That should never have been called.
I mean, I have to start with
That was a catch. I know where you're going. That was a catch.
No, it wasn't, bro. If we're going to go based off the moment the ball touches the fingertips, then there should be so many more catches in
But that's
the
not
NFL.
that wasn't it. It was when he had full control, he had it in one hand.
He was still reeling it in when his right foot was down.
But
He
they
didn't completely
they count the tip of the foot because that's how it goes. When you have full control, if you even tip it, tip. Like I've seen the replay. I wanted to be like, you know what? Yeah, I think they really fucked this one up. I've seen that replay enough times where I'm like, no, he had control. Like if it would have been called not a catch, then you probably can't overturn it either way. They called it a catch, which was impossible to overturn because he has some control. He has one foot and he shifts the hand to the other one. He still has control and he tips his other foot. Everyone is looking at it from the second foot that touches, not the first one.
I'm completely looking at it from the first. When his right foot is down, the ball is barely touching it and he's barely getting control and his right foot goes up. I mean, even Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt were like, this is not a catch after watching the replay.
Yeah.
And then when they called it, they were both shocked and it was like,
But
okay, now we're on national
I get it.
TV,
You don't really go with the specialist, but the specialist, the announcer, before he even got called, he's like, no, it's a catch. He has control. And then, as he's saying, he has control with the second they call it. It's been reviewed by New York.
I don't think they called in
Yes,
the
they did. I literally
specialist
just saw the video. Well,
until
I'll put it for this.
after it was
No, when
called.
they're reviewing it, like they were reviewing it. They bring in the specialist. You think that was a catch? And he's like, well, you can see that he has control in this foot, and as he's saying foot, that's when they say, after review, it's been confirmed the catch.
I don't know, dude. There's just
That one's a close one. I'll give you that. But I do think if they call that incomplete, it's incomplete.
it's just there's just too many inconsistencies. You can't go from it's a catch when they maintain possession all the way through to the ground versus oh, it's a catch the moment he starts to reel it in. Because the
Watch
reality is the reality is he is literally not like how do you determine when they gain
when
possession
he
of the
has
ball then?
control. It's
But
that
how do you do that? That to me that is so
it's subjective. It is very subjective. But I think what they're trying to go by is, does he maintain control the whole time? It's not bobbling. Can you at least admit it doesn't bobble at all? He literally
no,
he actively
I agree.
chooses
Yeah.
when he's gonna shift it to the next hand.
But it's not even the shift though to me. It's still reeling the ball in.
But it isn't about the reeling the ball. If he has full control and there is no movement, even while he has it in his hand, and then he has it close, he's bringing it into his shoulder. The second he has it in his shoulder right here, or in his chest, he's still tippy-toeing on his first foot. It's like
Uh,
this much. It's like
I don't
literally an
know.
inch. And
I
then
don't
as he
know.
moves the hand to the next one, that's when he moves his leg and he touches it again. It is, again, if they call this incomplete, it would be an incomplete. I just think that New York didn't have enough to be able to say, yeah, it's an incomplete.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
don't
close call.
know.
I'm gonna say such a 50-50 call.
It's I mean, I go back to like when Calvin Johnson clearly had the touchdown
Yeah, but they changed the
a-
rules on the
and
catch.
okay, well, let's go back to Seattle and Packers, Golden Tate in the end zone.
Again,
I
they changed the rules since all of that. Like, the whole catch got changed after the Des Bryant situation.
okay, so what is the rule right now?
Maintain control, get 2 feet in.
It's like-
Again, the subjective part was the officiating crew calling it a catch. If the
Ugh.
officiating crew doesn't call it a catch, I don't think New York would have even questioned it. They would have said, "No, it's incomplete." It's so 50-50 that you literally have to look at it in inches. I think
I
it
don't know. It's I don't know.
I
I don't
think
know.
I can't get my bias out of this one. I could keep my bias out of the timeout. That timeout was
I
stupid.
I just I mean, here's the thing. In real time, right? So again, I'll go back to clearly both Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt, who watches the initial replay, live action, right? Oh no, that is not a catch. Oh no, he does not get
But
both
how
feet
many
in.
times have they been wrong
And
too? Like, it
uh,
happens.
the thing is that like if you literally have to I mean, oh my gosh. I
I
mean, you
that
know how I feel
but
about all the
that's the point I'm trying
replays
to
and
get at. It's
everything.
like the whole game is bang bang. It's real speed. I think that the officiating crew called it because it was real speed. They don't have that inch by inch. But because they called it that, they have to go with that because there's nothing that tells you that wasn't a catch, but there's nothing that tells you that was definitely a catch. It's such again, it's such a 50-50 call. It just it
I mean,
fortunately helped the Packers on that
I
one.
mean, it's a 50-50 call, sure. It's also a call that again is a complete momentum shift
Of
because if that's
course.
not a catch, then it's turnover on downs and the score is still 3-0. So it's a 7-point swing. And
Yeah, but
then
that isn't the reason that the Lions lost. I get the momentum shift, I'll give you that, but the Packers still had control for most of the game. Anytime the Lions did something, the Packers got ahead. It kept on happening. Even before that play, the Packers were the one that were able to get the Lions to stall.
but again, that and the timeout, which would have been
The
4th and
timeout, I'll give you.
6,
I'll give you the timeout.
which would have pushed them to 4th and 6 with now you're taking probably the field goal, then going for it. So it's another 7-point.
The reality though is that we probably could have scored again at the end if we needed to.
I-
You keep on you're the person that says that
No,
one play doesn't.
I understand that. I understand that, but it seemed yet again like this came down to a one possession game.
Yeah,
And
But why are we acknowledging the bad calls on the Packers when the momentum shifted still that allowed the Lions to get in at least a close score proximity to catching up when they kept on doing pass interference on Christian Watson? That is we had to punt the ball away. That is a
Yes.
and we were moving the ball. We had momentum there. That is a bad call. That was the one that was blatant. There were so many pass interference calls that weren't called on Christian Watson. If you look at the alternative views, the all 22, whatever it's called, you see that he's being held badly because they can't keep up with him. But they didn't call that. And then I know we texted with Eddie about Hutch getting held. Hutch isn't getting held this year. Like, Hutch is great. Hutch is amazing. I'm not putting.
Did you watch the all 22 views on him too?
Yeah. Well,
let's throw that in the podcast. I want to be able to see it myself.
No, I could send you the NFL Plus. You could borrow my password if you want.
I mean, the thing is, and I messaged this in the group chat too, is I'm literally convinced that holding happens on every single play.
Of course, but there's blatant holding.
Well, yeah, and those are usually the ones that are called. It's that or ones that clearly affect the play, and it's just, and of course, I'm never probably going to get over the officiating in the NFL. I think it's terrible. I think the rules suck. I think that, effing suck. Family friendly.
I get rid of all these.
I think that if you're gonna have challenges, you should be able to challenge the calls that really matter and not stupid. And vice versa. I think also if it's like I think you should have defensive challenges as well. And so, of course, and again, I know that everything that we're talking about, you never know, but it's very annoying to me when you have calls that are clearly momentum shifts. Like, you don't have, if that is we'll go to the timeout one, for example. If that is one that they're at the 45-yard line and 4th and 1 they're going for it, and then they get the 5-yard, it's completely different, right? Completely different. But 4th and 1 at the 3-yard line or something, that too, I don't know. It was not 4th and goal, I know that much, but they were very close to the goal line. It's just frustrating when, how come at that moment they can't look at the review and be like, nah, bro, he didn't call a timeout.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. They should be reviewable. But if they're reviewable, then Christian Watson gets a first down, and we're not even having a conversation of the Lions getting a chance to come back.
I think that, again, those are the challenges that I think you should be able to make.
Sure, and I'm cool. I think that they need to change that. We've had this conversation many times, and I've always agreed with you. I think that these types of calls need to be able to get challenged.
Yeah.
But the touchdown for Wicks, you don't overturn that because it did get reviewed.
Yeah, but and of course, we have to draw the line somewhere. So it's not like you can challenge every play for offensive passing interference or defensive passing interference. Clearly the ball needs to be thrown to them, because I think that would be silly if you're just watching the film and you're like, hey, there's holding over there way on the other side where the ball is not thrown. That would be stupid, right? Yeah. So of course there's got to be parameters for these things, but it's just
okay. The questionable calls, because I agree there was a lot.
Yeah.
Aside, you don't think that the Packers had a lot of?
I even like Matt LaFleur's response after.
What'd he say? Oh, the wink?
Of course I did. I called it.
He knew. He knew. Because the excuse was...
even if he's yelling at it, it's loud as hell.
Yeah, exactly. They were saying that, oh yeah, he was probably yelling at it and they heard it. I'm like, no, they didn't. No.
Why do you think every call has gestures? Because they can't yell across the field.
They didn't hear.
My God.
Speaking of Matt LaFleur, though, I have to say this. He's been able to turn this offense around. And some of it might be with Toyotathon or Love in Toyotathon, which I'm starting to believe might actually be real, because for some reason, the second that the end of November comes in, he turns into another quarterback. But we've seen other coaches not be able to shift mid-season. Yeah. And I think this is why offensive-minded coaches are so important. A defensive-minded coach can't shift their offense mid-season. You have to find new coordinators because that's not their repertoire. That's not their specialty. An offensive-minded coach could. An offensive-minded coach could be like, "You know what? Something's not right. Let's shift this." That's why Ben Johnson's able to do it when he had that little moment where week 1, week 2, we thought, "Whoa," or the NFL thought, "Oh, they're dead in the water." No,
Yeah.
no, they're not. Ben Johnson's an offensive genius. So I'll give Matt LaFleur his flowers, if we will.
You're putting your shirt aside for now?
I am. I'll put it. I'll put it when we go against San Francisco in the playoffs at some point if we make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, but moving on, like, the bigger picture of the game, obviously, to me, I think the biggest difference maker was that, Jordan Love had time to throw and Jared Goff was fucking running for his life most
Oh
of the
yeah,
game.
but that's a Micah Parsons
So,
effect.
well, yeah. Oh, God. I'll give you a second to glaze over Micah Parsons because you
That's
did
all. I
it.
mean, this game was a Micah Parsons disruptive game. Like, let's be honest.
I would hope so for that amount of money.
I mean, money. You keep on bringing the money in, but
But it's true though. I mean, if I'm paying somebody that, I want them to be a difference maker every week, right?
So again,
This
we
is
could
why
we
this
could
is why
acknowledge.
Hutch is disappointment right now because he's not living up to the
Oh yeah,
contract.
well, Jordan Love wasn't even sacked once.
Yeah.
So that's why when we were talking to Eddie about one's being held and one's or they're both being held and he puts Hutch, I'm like Hutch isn't being held the same way because I don't put them this year in the same sphere. I think it's Myles Garrett in his own little bubble because that man's a monster. Then I put Micah Parsons and then I'll put Hutch. Hutch is underneath. Hutch has games where he won't even get through the line. Parsons doesn't seem to have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, we've known about this for years. We've known the type of player Micah Parsons. So
Yeah, of
nothing
course.
is surprising,
Oh, no,
you
of
know?
course. But the money's right now, you're right. We're not going to know if it's worth it or not. So right now, I'm going to put that money aside because it's not affecting us yet.
Yeah, and I mean, again, in the meantime, like, yes, right? This is what you expected when you pay someone that amount of money.
Yeah.
You want them to be that difference maker week after
Oh, of
week.
course.
And so from that standpoint, like you have to feel good about that.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm just saying, like, going back to last week about obviously will it be worth it? That we won't know.
Yeah.
We
It's going
won't
to take some time.
know. But yeah, I mean,
For now,
I
it
don't
seems worth it.
like I said, I wasn't, analyzing the holds like you were in whatever you called that
I only did it
22
because of the
to
text message. That's literally the
but
only reason.
but I mean, I would be down to look at it though because
Yeah.
I'm always curious and
It
again, I'm convinced that every single play I would see a little
Well, the
like
thing with
a
that
little bit of
view
a
is
tug.
that it sucks for watching games, right? It does. It's not
Yeah.
entertaining,
Yeah.
but you get to see everything in an aerial view.
Mhm.
Everything from every angle. So it helps being able to analyze certain things.
Yeah.
But in the entertaining sense, the second that ball is thrown, it does not like it follows. So it's not a very entertaining thing.
Yeah, so, I mean, a couple other things I'm looking at. Obviously, we already talked about it earlier, but, St. Brown going gosh,
Yeah,
that's brutal, because especially when you think about it in that last play where Jameson Williams drops the pass that would continue the
oh,
drive for the
JMO would catch
Lions.
that. I mean,
Uh,
St.
Amon-Ra,
Brown, yeah.
yeah, yeah, so it's like, it's moments like that where you're like, "Gosh, dang it," but, I mean, but who knows, because they may be double covering him because it's Amon-Ra, so again, we'll never know, but you would probably think that in that type of situation, the ball is going his way. But what was interesting, and I'm looking at it here, is like statistically in this game, both teams were nearly identical. Both of them
Yeah.
had 60 total plays. There were 359 total yards for the Packers, 350 total yards for the Lions. Yards per play, 6 yards per play for the Packers, 5.9 yards per play for the Lions. Third down, Packers were 6 for 12, Lions were 8 for 13. And here's the big difference maker though. Fourth down, Packers 3 for 3 and Lions 0 for 2. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying about like the fourth down,
But it also felt
it's
like
questionable.
LaFleur decided to be Dan Campbell because he's been so conservative for a while. This was not a conservative game.
Yeah.
These last 2 weeks, he's been very aggressive, but this was the I'm gonna outdo your mentality because he really did outdo his fourth down, but he did it in the right moments, and that's something Dan doesn't get to do
Yeah,
or doesn't do.
but again, like, I mean, one, this tells you that again, it was a very competitive game,
Of
right?
course.
And so i- i- if I'm playing, devil's advocate here and I'm looking at it from the Lions perspective, I can understand why those fourth downs could be crucial difference makers in the game, right? Because again, it goes 3 for 3 on fourth down for you, 0 for 2 for the Lions, and now you're like wondering, well, what if? What if they didn't have those 3 fourth down attempts? What if they, got called for the false start? What if that wasn't called for a catch and it's turnover on down? So it's just again, we'll never know, but I can understand from the Lions like fans perspective of like refs shouldn't have that much factor in a game, but they always do. So I don't know
Yeah,
why we're surprised.
I will say though that while on paper it looks like they had relatively close games, the Packers defense played better. Like they just did. Not even just
Well,
Micah.
I mean, well, I don't know how you could say that though when they've scored only 7 points less. Okay, if you're saying they played better than the Lions, absolutely. But if you're trying to claim that they had a dominant game like last week, I can't get behind that.
No, no. I mean, it's really hard to have a dominant game against the Lions.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna kid myself to think that that's a terrible team. They offensively, they're still really dangerous.
Yeah.
Again, without one of their two major pieces, we get that. But I mean, we still stopped Jameer Gibbs like to keep him under 70 yards,
Yeah.
3.4 yards per carry. Like that's not really. He had a 200-yard game last
Mhm.
week.
Mhm.
So that's not really heard of. We we kept Jared Goff under 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times. Jordan Love wasn't sacked at all. Jordan Love had 4 touchdowns. Jordan Love had a better yards average or completion. No, I honestly think that the Packers played better than the Lions, regardless of the refs.
I mean, it's hard for me to because even though like the thing is that the Lions had a chance. Like it
Of course, they
wasn't
always
like
will have a chance.
I mean,
Most of the time, that offense has a good chance because it's a good
yeah,
offense.
and well, that's what I'm saying is that just the same way that you're saying the Packers always found ways to respond, the Lions really did find ways to respond too. It's just they never were able to make that one stop that would give them the ball back. So if you're referring to that in the Packers playing better, yes, their defense played better in that sense. But I mean, to me, I think it was really a really like even played game, and I think that is indicative in the stats, in the total yards, in the score. So, I mean, it just, again, it came down to a one possession game, which I
When
honestly, I wouldn't really expect anything less than, you know, two
yeah,
very good football teams.
when it came to playmakers, I'll give you that they had Jamison Williams finally do something when I sit him on my bench, and Jared Goff 2 touchdowns is still a decent game. But when you start comparing it to how the Packer players came, if you want to go match like 1-to-1, you had Wicks with Jamison Williams. They were comparable, which Wicks catching the ball was crazy because never catches. And then Jordan Love had 4 touchdowns. That's still a hell of a game.
Yeah.
So I can't compare what Jared Goff did to Jordan Love. And they were both blitz and rushed and pressured, literally, like you said, equal. But Jordan Love was able to do more with that.
No way. No way. Jordan Love barely got pressured that game.
They were pretty equally pressured.
No way, bro. Bring
He
up some stats.
he was
Let's
pressured.
do a stat check right now. There's no way. Watching that game, it did not feel like Jordan Love was under duress. It felt like Jared Goff was under duress, but Jordan Love, no, bro. I mean, I'm clearly just coming from the eye test. I don't have the stats, but
I
I
don't have
like
any stats on that either. I'm just
uh,
saying it from what it looked like, he still had to run out of the pocket. Because Hutch he may not be at Micah Parsons level, but he still breaks through the line. And we don't have the strongest line either.
I don't know, dude. I just I
I
mean,
think the
again, I'm
difference is
going
that
from an
when Goff got pressured, he got sacked. Like that's how it went. He got sacked. Jordan
yeah.
Love just would move out of the pocket and get out of the pocket and then throw the ball away.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure like even Jordan Love came out after the game and said like the O-line did great because I had time to throw today. So
Oh, he had a lot of
I
time to throw, but he was also pressured. Like, let's be honest, Hutch could still pressure. Like, Hutch is still gonna pressure you. I didn't
yeah,
say
but
he was disrupted at the same extent. I think that Jordan Love had a way cleaner pocket, but he was still pressured because Hutch is still a monster. I just don't think he has the same level that he did last year.
yeah, yeah, I would be curious to know like how
I
many
could look that
times.
up. Again, that one's going by heart. I don't have that definitive. Like, I didn't look at that to look at every single.
Surprise. Get your 22 views on that one too.
No, it takes so long, man.
But anyway, again, really great game. And, this was a game that both of these teams needed to have. I think that especially for the Lions, now dropping to 7-5, every game is like I mean, for the entire NFC North, Vikings are just like slowly slipping away, and I think they're kind of too far
We'll
gone
talk
at this
about them.
point,
Yeah.
but every game going forward feels like a must-win game
Oh
for
yeah.
the NFC North team. So,
I think
uh,
this one is gonna haunt the Lions because now they don't have a tiebreaker with the Packers.
yeah,
So they're probably hoping that we completely collapse because if not, they probably don't make the playoffs.
yeah. All right, let's move on to our next Thanksgiving, well, day after Thanksgiving game,
Black Friday.
Black Friday football with. Oh, and I didn't even talk about the final score for the Packers and Lions game, but the final score was Packers 31, Lions 24. There you have it.
The sweep.
Alrighty, so Black Friday, the Bears had the lovely privilege of seeing the Eagles in Philadelphia. I was trying to think of like a clever way to talk about the Alliance, but I couldn't think of one on time. But yeah, Philly. The Alliance was fun. Sorry we had to do this though. But, Bears
It bit them in the ass.
basically dominated the defending Super Bowl champs. I know they've been kind of going through it lately, so I won't dig too much into it. But this is still a championship roster. So to be able to run down their throats the way that we did and come out on the road to topple Philly 24-15 was, one hell of a feeling I mean, we all saw the locker room after the game for the Bears and Ben Johnson taking his shirt off. Man of the people, man of the people.
Here we go! Good, better, bad! Good, better, bad! Never let it rest! Never let it rest! Good gets better! Good gets better! It better gets better! It better gets better! There's on three,
There is a betting line that if he would do this season.
I would bet on it. I mean, he knew beforehand that if he took his shirt off, he was going to feed the city of Chicago free hot dogs. So why wouldn't he do that? I would have bet on
I would
it.
have bet on that too.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, but what a great moment. You could
I
just
know.
tell the Bear. I mean, that locker room is bought in. They are bought in.
He's surprisingly kind of ribbed. Like,
I thought so too.
right?
I was
Like, for a coach?
Whoa, Ben Johnson.
I'm like, I you can't tell, but I thought he was just a skinny dude. I'm like,
Yeah,
kind of ribbed.
Yeah, he's definitely Chicago's best kept secret. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and of course, people are still talking about the Bears, which is really funny. But most of the NFL community now is like, now we're starting to believe. Bears fans have been believing, all right?
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong, we're still a little like PTSD, when is it all going to fall apart on us? And we're probably still, it's going to take us a long time to get over things like that. But I mean, after we were winning those close games and we talked about it on the podcast, that we normally lose, we're like, this team's finding ways to win. This is like, I mean, this is unfamiliar territory. And now I think the NFL community is starting to join in this, like, Bears may actually have something going here.
Do you remember when I said that the Lions needed to beat a marquee team for me to start believing that they have a chance this year? And they didn't. They never did. They never beat anyone that I'm like, oh, that was the game. not Chiefs, not the Eagles. This is the marquee game, in my opinion, for the Bears. This is they beat. I don't give a damn about how dysfunctional the Eagles are. They've been winning regardless of how dysfunctional they are. And you guys made them look like a joke.
Yeah, it was, I mean, listen, the one thing I can say confidently with this team is they're gonna lay it all out on the field. They're gonna give you everything that they have, and you could just tell this entire game that they wanted it more. There was no
Yeah.
question in my mind that they wanted to come out and, of course the players are like, "Do you guys think this is a statement win?" And they're like, "No, Tuss, it's just like, they wanted to make a statement win.
It's a
Like,
statement win.
because as much as you try and block out the outside noise in today's day and age with social media, you can't avoid it. You're
No.
gonna come across something that is like, and I mean, even after the game, I want to say it was Jaquan Brisker, but he was like, "What are they gonna say now?" So that they're listening to the noise, like it. But that's the one thing I can appreciate about Ben Johnson is he keeps them locked in, even though the players are probably very well aware of it. He's got a game plan each and every week. I text my cousins this at halftime because we obviously got conservative there at the end of the first half, and I was like, "What are we doing? Like, hello, let's like try and put some points on the board." And Ben Johnson made a statement about the conditions have something to do with it. It's very windy out here today, and I think he knew that he had a really well thought out game
Yeah.
plan for the second half where he was like, we can deal with these conditions for what, we game planned for in the second half. So, and I told him, I was like, at first I was upset, but then I heard him. I was like, I trust that this man knows what he's doing. And that's not a common thing for Chicago fans to say about their head coach.
I want to say this, and I wanted to, how can I put this without sounding like I want you guys to lose, but I do want you guys to lose.
Well, I'm sure, especially next week.
Well, especially next week or in a few weeks too. But what I'm trying to say is no matter what happens the rest of the season, this season has been a success. Like I know you guys want more and that should be the goal. And I'm not trying to take that away. I think with how the expectations were around the NFL, you guys have far exceeded.
Yeah.
Close games, doesn't matter. Like we got to get to a point where close games, sure. Yeah, that's true and that's a metric, but comebacks are a metric. And then having this ability and this offense with this coach, that's something that we got to start paying attention to.
Yeah, before the season started, the Bears, and again, I know the records don't say it, but the Bears had the second toughest schedule. They were projected to be last in the NFC North. And here we are heading into week 14, and not only are they first in the NFC North, but they're first in the entire NFC conference.
Yeah.
So it's trust me, I don't like.
I'm internally twitching, by the way.
I think that, again, and it's okay, Bears fans, it's okay to say you're shocked because I'm shocked, but that doesn't mean we don't believe, right? And especially doesn't mean that we haven't enjoyed this ride, even though, the Bears gave us plenty of heart attacks throughout this season. But and I agree with you, this season has been a success. Of course, we want to ride this wave as long as it goes. And I feel very happy and confident with Ben Johnson being
I do too.
our coach and being able to partner with Caleb for years to come. And it's been a long road, Chicago, and it's taken, quite the painful experience, but I think we finally got there. I think that, yeah, and I mean, Tawny, if you listen to the podcast, you may have been onto something about the Bears being cursed.
Have you what's your offensive lineman? Tony,
yeah.
Have you been seeing the conspiracy theories with that?
Oh gosh, no.
So every team that he goes to wins a Super Bowl.
Oh really?
So
and he was with the Chiefs for so long.
I know.
What was the team before that?
I think he was with who was it? I think was he with the Eagles for a bit, or I know that they followed him. Let me look this up.
I don't know.
I thought it was a funny.
You know what though? I'm glad you brought up Joe Tooney, and I have to say our offensive line and the revamp of this offense. I mean, it's not. I have some things here, but we right now, according to stats that Jameson sent me,
he was a Patriot. He won with the Patriots.
Oh, Oh.
And he was there for their Super Bowl win. Then he went to the Chiefs and won Super Bowls with them. And now that he's with the Bears, people are saying that, oh, see, the curse has been lifted because now we got the Joe Tooney.
Tooney's bringing Super Bowls wherever he goes. I love it. I love it. But there's an interesting article that Jameson sent me, and that's my cousin, by the way. And basically, the Bears' offensive line is like the best O-line in football right now.
It is run and
yeah,
pass.
yeah. I mean, so I'll just read a little bit of this article that he sends me. But so they have a total 86.6 grade, and Chicago leads in average time to throw, average time until pressure, and average time to sack allowed. Which is crazy because that means that Caleb is holding the ball for 4.5 seconds when he's getting sacked.
Damn.
Which, I mean, that was something that Caleb did in college, so we're not really surprised there. But,
I definitely
gotta give flowers to the O-line and Ryan Poles, who, and of course, I think that Ben Johnson clearly had a hand in it as well. But them going out and revamping the offensive line, and it seems like they're doing a pretty good job of developing the offensive line as well, because there's been a couple plays where some of our backups have come in and been pretty solid. And, we have Theo Benedict at the left tackle, who was not very well known. I mean, unless you watched Hard Knocks a couple years ago. He was the Canadian with the bald eagle underwear. But yeah, I mean, I got to give credit to that. And I mean, 281 rushing yards to Philly's 87. They have arguably the best running back in football. Well, was the best running back in football last year. So that's very impressive. Monungai, who, oh, man, this kid, I love the way he runs. I really do. We've been talking about that all season too. But 22 rushing attempts for 131 yards and a touchdown. And then DeAndre Swift, 16 rushing attempts for 125 yards and a touchdown.
The kid is like, wow. I mean, we talked about this offense needs to have both running backs utilized because Swift works best when he's not 100% running the ball.
Yeah.
And Monongai, every time I see him run, it is the most entertaining thing.
Yeah.
Which is saying something because watching the Eagles play is one of the most boring things in the world.
Yeah. So you guys just heard those stats. Cue up my fun fact because it's going to tie into this. All right. So fun fact here. The Bears having 2 players rush over 100 yards in a single game is the first time since, you guys know, 1985, when Walter Payton had 107 yards and Matt Suhey had 102 yards against Detroit.
I hate this.
Dang. Is this team giving us 85 vibes? I think so.
So,
wait, there's one more thing.
Okay.
This is from Tawny, so I'm going to throw in hers as well. But for this season, this is the second game this year that we had 100 rushing yards before contact and 150 yards after contact. The second game. No other team has even done it once. Dang.
I hate this because last week I appreciated that you did a fun fact on Micah Parsons and he was the focal point instead of the Vikings for once. This week is going to be a whole Bears fun fact because my fun fact is revolved around the Bears.
All right. Does it tie into this?
It does.
Another fun fact.
It ties into the game.
Okay.
So I had to go deep for this one because I want to be very accurate. Right now, as it stands, there are 3 players from the same team that are in the top 5 for interceptions.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get to that, I went all the way from today all the way to 1985, which is why I'm so annoyed.
Oh.
And not a single team has ever had 3 players in the top 5 in interceptions. Not one. There's been 2. The Rams had a few years. The Dallas Cowboys had a few years. The Packers had a few years. Not a single time has there been 3 from the same team this deep into the season until this year. For the first time ever in the history, well, I can't say history because I can't go deeper than 85 because
It's
the
hard to find.
stats,
Yeah, it's
the
hard to
stats are
find
crazy
stats.
at that point. Like literally, I went NFL.com, ESPN.com, everything. The stats get hard before the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first time in history, there are 3 players in the top 5 for interceptions. It is Kevin Byard, Chicago, 6 interceptions in first place. You have, I fucking hate this. What is that? Nashawn Wright,
Yep.
5 interceptions in 4th place, or tied for 2nd because he has the same as the other ones.
Tremaine.
And Tremaine Edmonds in 5th because he has 4 interceptions. So for the first time ever, there's 3 in the top 5.
Yeah, and again,
I hate this. It's a Bears podcast at this point.
And what's crazy about this is, again, we didn't have any linebackers.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what's, and I mean, I will say though, it was good to get Jalen Johnson back. It was great to get Kyler Gordon back, and I like that. You know, they were clearly on a pitch count, which is fine.
Yeah.
But for them to get some like game time action before our big rivalry next week, I think it was really
they can
well
sit
timed.
another week if they want.
I think it was really well timed, and I'm really, really excited for them to be back on the playing field. And and that was something else, is Philly doesn't turn over the ball. They take care of the ball. And
I hope you're going where I think you're going.
And yet again, this has been kind of the formula for the Bears, is they win the turnover ratio. And they had one fumble and one fumble, which was a forced fumble recovery again.
But can you please go into what type of fumble? Can you stop the tush push? Stop the tush push.
Yeah.
No one stops the tush push.
I know.
You might be the recipe on how to stop that stupid play.
Well, I think the Giants kind of opened the door last week,
Yeah.
so I got to give them a little credit there. But yes, the impossible play to stop the tush push out. I mean, Nashawn Wright just came in there and was like, "Give me that." So,
I felt like that was planned because he ran around and looked at it. Like
Ben Johnson was asked, and he said that they were looking, because I mean, when you play Philly, it's just inevitable, right?
Yeah.
It's inevitable that you're going to get a tush push.
I hate that
so
stupid play.
I think that they definitely planned for it. And again, this is where the coaching comes in. Like, coaching matters.
It does.
And we've always known this, but like, this is just further proof of coaching matters. It's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so I mean, there's nothing more I can really say. The Bears just keep doing it. I know, of course, like, and I've seen a lot of Packers fans talking about Caleb Williams, being like, haha, yeah, you won, Caleb, but a terrible game. Well, guess what? When you're running for almost 300 yards a game, why do you need your quarterback to have a great game? This is called complimentary football. Okay.
Here's the thing. I could agree that Caleb needs to work with some consistencies, but I'm not going to say I don't give a that he had a terrible game because he won.
And it's part of it. It's part of the rivalry.
And then Jordan Love had a terrible game against the I mean, again, I'm not like a Bears fan. I fuck the Bears. Sorry. But you know what I mean. Like,
yeah. No.
But like Jordan Love had a terrible game against the Eagles. Like, everyone has a terrible game.
Yeah.
Quarterback-wise against the Eagles.
Yeah, and to me, it was like, it wasn't even that he had did he have his best game? No, but to say, like, terrible is like the next quarterback we're going to talk about, because that's a terrible game.
I guess that's
like, if you want to talk about terrible...
that's how we get to that.
And we segment 2.
Yes, I was wondering what would break first. Your spirit? Oh, your buddy.
But yeah, so let's just do it. Let's just go. So, bringing up terrible quarterback play, and I'm sorry, Dylan. I know you were very excited to see.
He can buy his jersey too, huh?
Max Brosmer. Hey, you know what? Cut him some slack. I still have a Trubisky and Justin Fields jersey. So when you're a diehard, you're a diehard. That's just you go down with the ship.
Okay, fair.
But yeah, so I mean, I too was excited to see Max, Brosmer. I get he's a bro now. I understand. I was excited to see him because there was a lot in preseason. There was a lot of hype coming out of like, oh, they're really impressed with this kid, and this an undrafted free agent made the team, and so I was like, okay, like let's see what this kid has.
Cinderella story kind of situation. Cinderella got his fucking ass whooped.
Yeah. So Vikings going into Seattle territory, playing against the Seahawks and their former QB that led them to their own Cinderella season last year, Sam Darnold.
I told Dylan that it felt like it was a drama movie where
Oh yeah,
they were perfect for each other, but they just leave each other's lives because you could tell Sam Darnold played better with the Vikings, even though he's playing amazing right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, what could have been?
Yeah.
What could have been? I mean, the Packer fan is really happy that this is happening, but I do feel sad at the same time.
Yeah, so in case you guys missed it, you didn't miss really much on the Vikings end, but Vikings going into Seattle and dropping a big old donut. They got shut out by the Seahawks 26-0. And
I didn't think they could outdo last week. I honestly didn't think they could outdo last week.
Yeah, so I mean, to start the game, it wasn't terrible. Like you could tell it was feeling like one of those defensive type battles. But then the more Brosmer started to play, the worse it got.
Yeah, and
So
worse is an understatement.
yeah, so I mean,
Why don't we tell our listeners what the stat line was?
I don't have the stat line. It wasn't
Why don't we just tell them the highlight?
It wasn't even worth like I mean, here's all I can say about it, right? So I know Minnesota fans were very excited for him. Obviously, he's a Gopher, so you always want to root for your hometown kids. But yeah,
I do have the stat line.
go ahead.
19 for 30, 126 yards, 4 sacks, a rating of 32.8. And what allowed that rating to get to that was 4 interceptions.
Yeah, and the interceptions were bad.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, the one where the play is basically over and he just like flings it to in the direction of 2 Seattle defenders. That was just that's like not.
That was a terrible one.
Yeah, that's not. All I can. I mean, I don't.
It didn't look like an
I want
NFL throw.
to. I want to. Yeah, I want to say growing pains, but that's just like that's a mistake that you make when you're like first learning to play football.
Yeah, I agree.
Take the sack. Lose the yards, take the points, but you don't just fling it like that, especially in the NFL. And
this is telling me that the Vikings have some serious problems because it's not just JJ at this point. And I get it. This is an unfair game for Brosmer.
Brosmer, yeah. Just think
You
of him as a
threw
bro.
him into the fire. Let's be honest, and I get it. It's a necessity after the concussion for JJ.
Yeah.
But he got thrown into the fire. This is a messed up game to get jumped into.
The thing is like you could tell that kind of Kevin O'Connell had a more and I don't blame him, right? A more conservative game plan. And it's similar to, did they when they played the Packers, I think maybe, where it was like really low scoring and then second half it was like,
Oh, yeah.
see ya.
6.
But yeah, and so, the Seahawks went into half leading 13-0, which again, okay, but it's still
another team you would think that they have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're hanging around because obviously you couldn't get anything going offensively. So to be down 13-0, you're considering that a win going into half. But I mean, this is a game where like both the quarterbacks were heavily pressured because Sam Darnold was
he didn't have a good game either.
Yeah, he was under a lot of duress, and it just felt like, and coaches talk about this all the time, but it felt like this was the type of game where it was going to be the team that makes the least amount of mistakes, and poor Brosmer was just, his picks were not good. They were bad. It wasn't even like maybe you had one that was, I think, deflected, but other ones he was forcing balls into coverage. He was wildly overthrowing receivers. He was very inaccurate.
Oh, yeah.
And, I know Dylan feels that the receiver should have played better, which I get. Okay, yes, like if the ball is on their hands, especially if you're looking at Justin Jefferson, but you have to understand that sometimes like it takes just one good throw to get you going.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you're not getting any good throws, it's a hard job, right? And you can't be expected to play Superman at the receiver position every single game because that guy, let's be honest, has been doing it for 4 years now.
Oh, yeah.
He's been literally holding the Vikings offense on his back with like a little bit of Aaron Jones sprinkled in there. And, then you have Jordan Addison who like kind of does his flashy ways where he has like great games and then kind of like disappears a little bit. So I mean, I can't really get too like upset about Justin Jefferson not making difficult catches.
At this point, he's done everything he can. I agree with you 100%. I do think that the defense did everything that it could too.
Oh yeah, the Vikings defense played their tails off.
They did.
And
26 points, right? It looks like they had a bad game if you just look at the score.
Yeah.
14 points of all those 26 came from kicks. They held the Seahawks to field goals for most of the day.
Yeah.
So at some point, you need to be like, okay, we keep on holding them to field goals. We need to do something. They just never did something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, rough go for sure for the Vikings team and Vikings fans. And I mean, one positive that came out of it is now you know what you have in Max Brosmer. I mean, very small sample size, right? But he got a little game experience. That's important. You can't take that away. And I mean, obviously, I think if JJ's out of concussion protocol, which I don't know what the latest is right now.
Yeah,
but
I think he's coming back for this game.
So, I mean, I think for the remainder of the season, again, everything's must win for Vikings, the team and the fans. But with your defense playing the way it is, your defense is going to give you a chance. You just got to find a way to get the ball into your playmakers' hands. And
ESPN has them as less than 1% to make the playoffs.
Oof, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't believe it. I'm going to say a couple things on Dylan's behalf that he was messaging me. So very upset about the Adam Thielen news.
Releasing him, yeah.
Yeah, I know that Kevin O'Connell talked about something that like Kwesi said. I haven't been able to see it. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, but I can imagine that that's pretty upsetting for Vikings fans and for Adam Thielen because I'm pretty sure he wanted to retire as a Vikings.
I think if we look at the perspective of this, it could have just been this is his last year. We know his last year. Maybe they just want to give him an opportunity to actually go to a contending team.
Maybe. But yeah, and then something else that was interesting, which I don't know, this must be a rumor floating in Minnesota, but apparently there's a rumor that the Vikings may move to Toronto.
That's bull. that can't be.
I don't know if Dill's trolling me.
He's trolling you. There's no way.
He goes, and what happens if Minnesota Vikings move to Toronto? ? Just a false rumor. What if the expansion into Canada? Toronto Vikings?
They just built a multi-billion-dollar stadium.
I'm trying to see if there's any other thing that he said.
They need to move the Chargers to another country, another city, because LA doesn't really want them. That would work.
Yeah, I mean,
Spanos.
A lot of his messages are like text to speech, and I have to decipher half of them. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I mean, I think I said his main points about how he feels the receivers should do a better job. And I mean, again, I'm not like arguing with that, but I also think that a lot of it has to do with the quarterback play.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're not putting the ball in the right places, you can't, like I said, you can't expect receivers to make difficult catches over and over again.
To add to your point about JJ or finding out if this is JJ's year or if he's the quarterback, I think you're right. I think this is the last few games should be, let's see what we have. Let's experiment. He needs to experiment.
Yeah.
McConnell.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose.
You got nothing to lose at this point. And if he's not it, I think the Vikings need to consider trading next season or free agency for one of the vets going into free agency because
is there a world where they draft another quarterback?
Is there a world where they pick up?
I mean, the Browns drafted 2 quarterbacks.
Is there a world where they pick up Danny Dimes in free agency when they let him go?
Maybe. I don't know.
Full circle. Full circle.
Yeah, pro. Alrighty. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say on that game because it was pretty brutal, and
These last few weeks have been brutal, so there hasn't been much to talk about in positive ways for the Vikings, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can talk about what is coming up in week 14. Folks, we have 5 weeks left in the NFL season. Boy, it is going by super fast. Happy December also, everybody. But
happy Toyotathon.
Toyotathon is on. Now's the time to get an exciting new Toyota.
How'd she do that?
Right now, during Toyotathon, get 4.99% APR on many of your favorite Toyota models. Toyota, let's go places.
We have today, on this fine Thursday, the Cowboys are going into Detroit to play the Lions. So both teams,
be a good game.
Both teams back-to-back Thursday games, and they're both need this win badly.
Yeah.
So this is a must-win for both of these teams. I agree with you. I think this is going to be a great game, and definitely excited to tune in for that one.
I'm going to say the Cowboys win this one. Wishful thinking.
Ah, man, it's tough for me. It's tough because they are playing in Detroit, but I mean, Detroit, I don't know.
Whoever loses this is out of the playoffs. For sure.
That is, yeah, that is not a
This is a playoff game.
far-fetched statement at all. Yeah. I can see that for sure. And then our Sunday games coming up, we have the Washington Commanders going into Minnesota to play the Vikings. That's an interesting game too. I don't think the Commanders have any, I mean, unless, here's the thing, Philly is starting to, they're starting to get a little shaky there. Dallas is starting to make a run. I mean, with Washington's record, I don't think they have a chance, but we'll see. We'll see. And then here's the big one, the battle for the NFC North top spot. We have the Chicago Bears going into Wisconsin to play the Green Bay Packers. So
why the hell is this not a primetime game? It's America's game of the week, but why is it not a primetime game?
I don't know. Because let me remind you that in the beginning of the year, the Bears were projected to go last in the NFC North. So, yeah.
NFL schedule makers need to understand that the NFC North is not the same as other divisions. It's hard to predict this damn
that's true. We're clearly the best division in football.
That's the one thing you and I agree on.
Alrighty, so it's going to be a very stressful week for JC and I, because one of us is going to be very pissed off in the next week's episode, and one of us will be very happy. So
I'm tired of the Bears being in first place. Let's just change this narrative already. I think that just to finish the whole podcast, but I think that the winner of these two games wins the North. However these turn out, we don't know how they're going to go, but they will win the North.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough because, let's see. So we still have... No. I know we still play the Lions again. We still play the Packers twice. I'm trying to think if we have the Vikings. No. Didn't we already
We
play
have
them?
the Vikings.
No, we already... Yeah, that's who it is. That's who it is. So... Yeah, lots of divisional games here coming up, and like I said, it'll be an interesting show next week, folks. So tune in.
One depressed, one happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone's gonna be wearing the shame mask for the shame helmet.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for listening. Wherever you listen to the show, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. JC's been really working hard on TikTok, so if you guys haven't followed us on TikTok, please follow us on TikTok. I'm not a big TikToker, but I guess I'm going to get into it. So for you guys, only if you tune in. If not, then shame on you guys, and you won't get to see me be silly.
Yeah, TikTok, what is it? NFC North WCE, because they don't let you do long.
All right, NFC North WCE is our double T. Like I did that. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you next week. And yeah, happy December. Get ready for the holidays, because it's this December is gonna be wild.
Toyotathon, Toyotathon.
Nah. Nah. All right, guys. Peace out.
Bye, guys.